I am so excited about this afternoon. In fact, I've probably spent the last 2 months imagining it. Except I always imagined it from your seat, because being up here is a little bit more intimidating than being down there. But when I sit in the seats of TEDx talks, I think, what do I want? Well, I want to be educated, I want to be inspired, and I want to be a little entertained. So today I'm going to talk to you about being awake. That's right, awake. Oh, come on, you know we all want it. We all need it. Being awake is pretty good. And really, I'm going to say that being awake is one of the secrets to my success. But today, I'm going to give it to all of you as well. Running. I was always running. I was running, and I had a backpack on, and it was loaded full of books, and my arms were pumping, and my legs were burning, and my lungs thought were going to explode. I was always running. What was I running from? I'm not sure. Where was I running to? Not clue. No, I was just running, and I was scared. And so I would run until I could go inside of an open door that was suddenly open, or I would hide in a dark alley, or I would lay and pretend I was asleep on a trampoline. Or sometimes, the really, really bad nights, I would run until I could finally wake up. By the time I was in middle school, I was a diagnosed insomniac because I had these nightmares. So my mom, being the awesome mom, took me to the doctor to get some medication to put me to sleep. I only took that one time. And the one dream that you can't wake up from is the last time you take the medication. But we tried everything. You know, milk before bed. How about we have a routine? Okay, let's make sure we get enough exercise. Let's exercise in the morning. Let's exercise at night. And it really didn't make any sense. I was a happy kid. I was active in school and in academia and with friends, and I had a great family. Nothing made any sense. But conquering those nightmares is literally why I'm successful today. Allow me to explain. I was running again. This time my backpack was even heavier. My arms were pumping harder. My legs on fire, about to fall off. I couldn't breathe anymore because I was running so fast and so hard, but I couldn't find a door or a trampoline or an alleyway. And instead, I found a pool. Thinking this was a brilliant idea, because I was dreaming, I jumped into the pool. No, whatever was chasing me was now wrapped around my legs and was dragging me even deeper into the pool. I knew I couldn't breathe, and if I didn't breathe soon, I was never going to breathe again. So what do? You confront the monstrosity. And looking down, I saw the most horrific creature ever in my life wrapped around my legs. I had a good imagination, filled with terror and panic that I'd never experienced in my entire life. Something happened in that moment. I woke up in the dream. I could look at the monster and make it a friend. I could take the pool water and lower it and breathe. I could actually recreate the entire scene, putting myself onto a lovely beach with some friends, sun on my face. What I didn't realize I was doing at that time was lucid dreaming. It's a practice that I maintained from that point forward. But it wasn't until I was in an early adulthood that I actually learned it was a thing, and it was real. I wasn't just weird. Lucid dreaming was first annotated and studied in the early 1900s by a researcher named Frederick Williams Van Eden. He didn't really get very far, and all he said were that he found some subjects that actually lucid dreamed. But it was actually Aristotle that references these awake dreams. And the Sufism practice of the Tibetan monks also references these awake dreams. But in the 1980s, two Stanford professors, Dr. Stephen LaBerge as well as Dr. Paul Tolley, actually came up with a way to prove it. Stephen LaBerge created a technique called the eye movement technique that traced the eye movements of lucid dreamers while they were asleep in their REM cycle. Once he could do this, Then Dr. Paul Tolley could actually transcribe and describe what was happening in this awake state of dreaming. Together, they formed the foundation, but that's certainly not where the study has ended. And you can go online and find a whole bunch of resources and researchers that are currently studying this. Dr. Paul Tolley identified 7 criteria: awareness, you know you're dreaming; decision-making, memory; identity, do you know who you are; meaning, concentration, and focus. And with these 7, you know that you are lucidly dreaming. Now, I studied it simply so I would know how better to apply it, because I'd used it as an early adult in memory recall, in studying for an exam or solving a problem. In later years, having difficult conversations or understanding a situation in a bigger way or on a bigger level. But lucid dreaming is now used on all sorts of areas: overcoming depression, dealing with trauma victims, reoccurring nightmares, am I right? But also training high-level athletes, video gamers. I'm not sure I agree with that one totally, but there is a study all on video gaming and lucid dreaming. But then also self-awareness and creativity, really understanding how to activate those things and have a world and a space that you can do anything within. So how does this apply to real life? So what? You're a lucid dreamer. Awesome. Good for you. Well, it activates something inside of you. But you can do that in real life. When I was 8 years old, I was memorizing all the presidents of the United States. And I went home to talk to my dad, and I said, "Dad, why are there no female presidents of the United States of America?" Looking down at his cute little 8-year-old, he said, "Well, honey, you could be the first female president of the United States." Now, he didn't know that a Canadian could never be the president. And he certainly didn't know that you actually had to be some form of a naturalized citizen. But what his words did in that moment was activate something inside of me that started to dream. Now, do I dream about being the president? No, I have too much hair. But what I do dream about is being a change maker, is seeing things come to fruition and having a positive impact on those around me. And I've spent my life doing that. But so too can you. Each of us have a dream that resides inside of us. And lucid dreaming taught me some techniques that I have put into my everyday life. And I'm going to give them to you right now. Number 1, I dream. I dream big. I think big. I dream beyond. I don't look at what is, I think what can be. I pay attention to moments where people will say something to me and I feel a little triggered, a little check, a little activation. And I know that that might be something I need to think about and dream forward. Now, I do lucidly dream, and so oftentimes I will try and transcribe some of those dreams to make sure that my day life and my night life can continue to evolve together. But you don't have to. Simply journal or keep a record of where you feel that activation. The second thing I know is that I have a choice. Now, yes, lucid dreaming allowed me a choice to change a nightmare. But in life, we have choice. We are not simply the victims of circumstance or of someone else's doing. We have a choice to be bigger, to be badder, to be bolder, but also to make decisions regardless of what's going on, to be positive, be loving, kind, powerful, and to do good things for those around us. So how does choice and dreams come together? Well, through awareness. Lucid dreamers, and if you ever study the practice of lucid dreaming, some believe you can train yourself to lucid dream. And there's a technique whereby you fall asleep looking at your hands, and then you close your eyes, still imagining your hands, so that when you're dreaming and you see a hand, it will alert your conscious to wake up. Now, that is one technique, and you can certainly read about a whole bunch of them online. But what that taught me was to be aware in my real life, to be conscious of what's going on, to know my impact on those around me, and to understand theirs on mine. To walk into a business meeting knowing what I'm carrying from the moments before and how that may affect my choices. I studied self-awareness when I was doing my MBA dissertation, and I studied self-awareness in executives and how that led to profitability within their companies. Well, I hate to be the spoiler, but it does have a positive correlation. But it actually goes way further than just profitability into employee retention, customer satisfaction, brand awareness, positive corporate culture. And the reality is, the more aware we can be in business, but also in our personal lives, also in our interactions, the more we can affect choice and activate our dreams. I believe that the key is in that self-awareness. But you need one last ingredient, and that is a mindset. A mindset that is positive and present. Now, I'm not going to go all, self-help on you here. What I'm going to say is that in the book by Eckhart Tolle, he talks about why the power of now. He talks about why being present is so important. When we venture on into the future, anxiety and worry take over, something that we don't have control over. When we venture into the past, we can become paralyzed with regret. Again, we have no control over. When we exist in the present, and if we are positive, we can actually affect change in our surroundings around us. When we couple that mindset with awareness, and we use that awareness to propel our choices forward, we actually can enact and empower our dreams. We become dreaming, but with our eyes wide open. So these are the 4 guiding principles of my life, and I've given them to you. And I've used them to stop recurring nightmares, to overcome debt, to figure out how to get a business through the recession, to get into great relationships and out of bad ones, to affect positive change in my community, to build subdivisions. I actually had a lucid dream about road hockey and redesigned this subdivision to make these 2 little cul-de-sacs so kids could play road hockey. But regardless of what my dream is, what's your dream? I challenge you to dream with your eyes wide open, to awaken your dreams, and to really become awake in your dreams. I believe. Do you? Thank you.